Okay, the first video got cut off because I got a phone call. So I'm just going to pick up where we left off. I have now turned on my do not disturb. So sorry. Okay, so like I was saying, we are going to highlight that a flamingo's long legs and neck help it find food in different depths of water. Okay. All right, next paragraph. Do flamingos prefer living in small groups or in large groups? Flamingos are very social birds. They often gather in large colonies with hundreds to even thousands of other flamingos. The larger the colony, the better they breed. In fact, some zoos put up mirrors to trick their flamingos into thinking they're living in larger colonies than they actually are. Okay, so we are going to say they are social birds, means they don't like to be alone. They like to be with others. All right, and just to touch on this, this article was written by this guy whose name is Guy Belloranti, who works at Reed Park Zoo in Tucson, Arizona. Okay, so I am going to pull my paper apart. You can do that if you want to. So it's easier, not having to flip back and forth. Oh, and I just ripped it. Okay. All right, so let's start right here. Number 1 says, Sarah was at the zoo looking at the flamingo habitat. There were 23 pink flamingos and 3 gray ones. The gray flamingos, A, were probably sick. B, probably weren't eating enough. C, were probably younger than the other flamingos. Or D, were probably from Asia. Okay, so if we look back on the first page under why are flamingos pink, it says a young flamingo is usually gray-ish in color. So that tells us that number 1 over here is going to be C. Those 3 gray ones were probably the babies. Number 2, why might a zoo put a mirror in a flamingo exhibit? A, the flamingos like to look at themselves when they clean their feathers. That's kind of silly. B, they will be more likely to lay eggs and have baby flamingos. C, it keeps the flamingos from seeing the zoo's visitors. Or D, the mirrors add heat to the flamingo's habitat. Okay, so we talked about that on the back page of the article. Right here, do flamingos prefer living in small groups or large groups? Okay, so it says, the larger the colony, the better they breed. In fact, some zoos put up mirrors to trick their flamingos into thinking they're living in larger colonies than they actually are. Okay. So it doesn't mention anything about them looking in the mirror and cleaning their feathers. I don't think a flamingo can figure out how to work a mirror. It did mention that they'll be more likely to, it helps with breeding, which means more likely to lay eggs. Okay, but let's check the other 2. It keeps the flamingos from seeing the zoo visitors. It didn't mention anything about them blocking out that. And D, the mirrors add heat. No, it didn't mention that. So we're going with B. Number 3, where would you find a flamingo's lamellae? Okay. Where did we see that? Okay, we're on the same page here. It's under the why do flamingos have such long legs and necks section. Right here is the word lamellae. I guess we probably should have highlighted that. It says, the bird sweeps its bill upside down through the water, filtering out food with its bristly tongue and special hair-like structures called lamellae. So its bill, that's the beak, okay, or mouth. So where would you find this? A, on its feet, B, on its neck, C, on the back, or D, on the beak? And we're going to go with D, on the beak. Number 4. Oops. Name 3 human foods mentioned in the article that have carotenoids. Okay, those are the chemicals, or that's what makes the food react. The feathers, sorry, I'm tongue-tied, react that way. Okay. So, why are flamingos pink? These food items that they eat contain carotenoids that give the bird its color. Okay, so we're looking for human foods that contain these. Carotenoids are also in some foods that we eat, foods like carrots, watermelon, and shrimp. All right, so there we go. We're going to write those 3 foods down. Okay, if you need more time to write this, just pause the video and then start back up when you're finished. Number 5, in which country would you be most likely to see a wild flamingo? And we're going to circle one of them. The United Kingdom, Canada, the Dominican Republic, or the Netherlands. I'll tell you, Miss Almonte is from the Dominican Republic. Okay, so the United Kingdom is in Europe. We know Canada is right above the United States. It's pretty cold there. Dominican Republic is a tropical place in Central and South America. And then the Netherlands is in Europe. It's also pretty cold there sometimes. Okay, where do flamingos live? That's what we're trying to figure out here. Flamingos can be found mostly in South America and Africa. Okay, it says that they live in shallow lakes and lagoons in tropical and subtropical parts. So which one of these did I mention were tropical? The Dominican Republic. We'll have to ask Miss Almonte if she's seen a lot of wild flamingos. Okay, now we have to explain why we chose the Dominican Republic. So it's tropical. Simple as that. All right, the back page, we have some vocabulary words. We need to match them with our definitions. I don't know why there's a shadow. All right, number 1, mirrors. Okay, I think we all know what a mirror is. Okay, so we're looking at the definition over here that matches with mirror. Okay, is it A, look at or see? B, chemicals that add color? C, reflective piece of glass? D, heights of the land? E, cleaning particles out of liquids? F, areas of shallow seawater? G, move to another place to find food? Or H, small swimming animal that is sometimes eaten as food? All right, I think we're back up here. If you chose C, reflective piece of glass, you are correct. So number 1 is C. All right, number 2, lagoon. All right, we learned that word in the second paragraph on the front page, talking about where flamingos live. It says they live in shallow lakes and lagoons in tropical and subtropical parts of the world. So basically a lagoon is a body of water, and it's not very deep. You could almost call it like a pond, a very shallow pond. Okay, so looking at our vocabulary options over here, which one of these is a shallow body of water? F. Very good. Okay, elevations. Let's see where that one would be. Same paragraph, elevations. It says, however, a few types of flamingos also nest at higher elevations where the winters are cold, okay? Higher elevations can mean maybe higher on a map, like closer to the North Pole, or it could be higher up in the air, okay? Think about the word elevator. An elevator takes us up. It also takes us down, okay? If I say I need to elevate my feet because they're swollen, that means I need to put them up, okay? All right, so which one of these vocabulary options might have to do with height or moving up? D, heights of the land, yes. Mountains have higher elevations than just the flatland. All right, number 4, migrate. Going back to the same paragraph, lots of vocabulary here. It says to survive, these flamingos must migrate to warmer areas during the colder months. We know that a lot of birds do that. They fly south for the winter because it's warmer there, and some birds aren't equipped to survive in really cold temperatures. That's why usually when it's winter here in Oklahoma, we don't see as many birds flying around as we do now. So, migrate. What do you think we are looking at? G, move to another place to find food. Very good. All right, shrimp. I don't think we need to look up in our article what shrimp is. We know it's a type of food. It's a fish. So, shrimp, would that be A, look at, C, B, chemicals that add color, E, cleaning particles out of liquids, or H, small swimming animal that is sometimes eaten as food? I think it's H. Okay, number 6, pigments. All right, we're going to find that word in our 3rd paragraph on the front page under Why Are Flamingos Pink? All right, so it says, as a flamingo grows, it eats lots of small shrimp and other crustaceans, as well as lots of algae. These food items contain pigments called carotenoids. All right, so the pigments are what help the flamingo change color to a darker, brighter pink. So which one of our definitions has to do with color? B, it is chemicals that add color, okay? Even if we are talking about like dyeing fabric, maybe you're going to tie-dye a shirt. The more pigment you use or the more dye, the deeper and darker the color will be. All right, 2 left. Number 7, behold. Okay, they talked about that in the last paragraph on the front page. It says, in the last sentence, seeing a flock of these brightly colored birds soaring through the sky is a marvelous sight to behold. What's another way that we could say that? A marvelous sight to see, because we're talking about a sight. Okay, so we're down to two options: look at or see, or cleaning particles out of liquids. I think we're going with A. Okay, and that obviously means that number 8 is E, filtering. Okay, we've talked about that before when we talked about how whales eat. They have a filter in their mouth that they can use to, what they do is they take a big gulp of ocean water, and the filter catches all of the food that can be eaten, and it releases all of the water that it doesn't need. You think about like your air filter at your house, it catches a bunch of dust and allergens, things like that, so they don't get put into the air. Same with a coffee filter. If you guys have a coffee pot at your house, you put a paper filter in, and it keeps all the coffee grounds from getting into the coffee, because you don't really want to drink those. You just want them to flavor the coffee. So that is it for Thursday. We've got one more day. We're almost done, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.